also the opportunities that computer science itself gives to its students and anyone who's an aspiring CS a job like seeker. That fascinates me a lot as well. But that's all from my end. I'm excited for this podcast style meeting, and I'm excited to know about everyone. Thank you.
Awesome. And then last but not least, Carolyn.
Hello, my name's Carolyn. I'm currently a sophomore at the University of Houston. I'm majoring in computer science with a math minor. Some plans for the future, I hope to pick up some new languages and start some projects and things like that. Like I really want to buff up my resume. I really want to learn a lot. I want to meet new people and learn about their careers and their pathways and what got them into CS because I really love learning about other people and how they grow and how they learn. And some plans for the future. I'm just planning to focus on schoolwork, focus on personal projects, and focus on my internship this summer.
Awesome. So thank you so much, guys. That was the introductions. We're gonna move on to the questions. And so the first one we got is pretty much like, how do we plan out our day or like daily life? What do we do to like organize or plan? And then this one will go to Mahir, and then you can pass it off to somebody else. I think you're on mute, Mahir. Sorry.
Sorry, guys.
It's okay.
I'm gonna be totally honest. I don't really plan out my day. But I do keep track of my assignments and deadlines and things like that. And a few tools I like to use for that is definitely Google Calendar. Like that's my number one tool for everything really. Like anything that has to do with deadlines, events, tasks. You can use Google Calendar for pretty much all of that. So that really helps me. I also have my own planner on like that I created on Google spreadsheets. So if you want a little bit more flexibility for creating your own like little planner, you can use Google Sheets as well.
Awesome. Yeah, for me, I'd say like Google Calendar is also like very nice. I feel like it's a convenient way to have like all your things in like one place. Either you can be on your phone or your computer. Um, I used it to just schedule my meetings or something like that, just if I have to talk with somebody. Assignments as well, just my general schedule for like work and school. And then basically, I like using Trello. I don't know if you guys are familiar with it, but it's just basically like a tile mapping like organizing tool. Like it seems kind of fancy, but it's just like allows you to just create tasks, create different like sort of like buckets where you can throw tasks into. And so I have like one for like pretty much everything, one for like fitness, school, in general, one for like leisure, just where I keep my activities. It just allows me to see like everything in a concise manner. And so I'll drop it in the chat. And it's just called Trello. You guys can check it out. And we'll go to Ali next.
Just like me here, I don't really plan out my day. Like there's nothing that I actually use to like, okay, yeah, this time block I'll be doing this time block I'll be doing something else. I don't really plan out my day like that because I just have a habit of remembering things and doing them on the spot. If I can, if I have to keep them for later on, then I just remember them. But that's just me. I'm not recommending that to anyone else because that's probably not the right way to approach this or approach things. But that's just how I approach, organizing things in my life or planning out my day. But if I had to use an application, I would try using Trello heavily, just like Yuri said. And I would also try implementing Notion because I feel like Notion has that very customizing aspect to it that I've heard from a lot of people that you can do anything you want in Notion. You can literally make an internships or job application tracker in Notion itself. You don't really have to use spreadsheets, but also spreadsheets is a great resource. On the other hand, those are some of my suggestions. But again, personally, I don't really plan on my day. I'll pass it off to Carolyn next.
Much like Mahir and Ali, I don't really plan out my day-to-day. Whatever I do in a day is usually what I think I want to do in the moment, but I do plan out my weeks or my months ahead of time, especially at the start of semesters. I grab all the or the syllabi that I can find, and I'll put them in a Notion. I really like using Notion a lot. The way that I use it is there's this like little spreadsheet, like a database that you can make, and then from there, if you have dates, Notion will allow you to display everything on a calendar, and you can have like some events spanning multiple days and things like that. So I really just like using Notion because I can still have that spreadsheet aspect that I used to use with Google Sheets. But then I can also see it on a calendar. And so I can just see where my assignments are, see where I am day to day, like see what's due tomorrow or what's due next week. So I can just plan that out.
Awesome, yeah. And if you guys haven't heard, CSGirls is having a Boba and Notion. Is that right?
Yeah, we have this partnered event with a Notion partner. So we're gonna talk about like how to organize your Notion, how to create your Notion databases and things like that, and we'll do it while having boba. Yeah.
Awesome. And when is it, Carolyn?
It's next Thursday, I believe, from 6 to 7 p.m.
Gotcha. Awesome. Now basically we'll talk about like some of the things that helped us throughout like college in general. So I'm gonna again start off with me here and then give us the spiel, man.
So, just in general, honestly, like college is hard, right? And even if you do organize everything, there's always going to be something that comes up that you don't foresee, right? Um, but honestly, like in general, right, there's a lot of resources that are available to you that you can take advantage of to make everything easier, right? And I know I'm going to be talking specifically about, like I like CougarCS tutoring, because, obviously we're all here for academic purposes, like most of us. And sometimes like classes can get really hard. And so CougarCS does offer tutoring. We actually have an entire tutoring server that you can join on Discord. And, we offer tutoring for like a lot of different classes. So we actually have a bunch of tutors that offer these resources to you. You can just, either you can ask on a channel or you can enter a VC with them and, ask whatever questions you might have. And hopefully you'll get some answers. And, like, hopefully it'll help you out for your classes. So I myself have used CougarCS tutoring back when I was actually just a member, and it really helped me out.
Yeah. Another source that I wanted to add on to that is like there's a Discord called After School STEM Coders. They're not really related, I guess, like to any major, but they're just a group of people too. It's like similar to like CougarCS tutoring, where they help out with general questions on like class assignments and stuff. And they have other classes as well. So I'm just gonna drop that link in the announcements on our Discord. And then I'll paste it in the Teams chat as well. Another resource for you guys that are like freshmen or maybe sophomore and maybe you haven't taken your let's say your basics yet, there's a website called modernstates.org, and basically what it allows you to do is like you can get a voucher for, it's called a CLEP exam, and it's basically like all of your basics. So American government, history, English, you can test out of them with the CLEP exam. And I forgot what it stands for, but you can just remember the name CLEP exam. And then the website Modern States, if you go through their program, they give you a free voucher and the test is like $90. So they'll give you a voucher for $90. You can take the test, you pass it, and then you'll be given credit for that course. I think it's a good way. It's cheaper than paying for a class if you're obligated to pay out of pocket for college. And another thing that allows you to do, I think, is like to save time, since you can test out of these courses and that'll give you time to focus on other courses as well. I personally, I left all my basics till like later in college. I tested out of like almost tested out of English. I got a I got a 1 point less than the passing scoring. And then but I tested out of American government and I tested out of history 1. So those were pretty good. And so you can do it. It just takes a little time, maybe like a month or 2 to prepare. But you can like knock it out in the summer and then you know, free college credit basically. And then career services are pretty good too on campus. I know they do events like headshot or headshots, so like professional photos, and CougarCS does it too. You guys can keep a lookout for that. And they offer like resume reviews as well. Also, shout out to CougarCS for having their portfolio reviews, very helpful. And there's a, I don't know, maybe you're in need of food. There's a food pantry on campus. It's called whatchamacallit, Cougar Cupboard. And then I'm gonna paste the links in the announcements. But basically, you can go there. All you have to do is just sign up, and then they'll give you like some food that you can take home. It's a pretty good resource if you probably like struggling to get food or just you need like a supplement. You can go to them and they will be able to provide the food for you. And then probably I'll pass it on to Ali regarding like just like maybe jobs in general and yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So, another thing I would like to put it out there is like what really helps you in college is networking, because I feel like that's one very, very important and crucial thing that CS majors lack. I feel like a lot of us are just shy or just can't get out of our comfort zone. We are probably good at what we're doing, but we're not good at talking to other people, which is one thing that computer science majors, or I feel like STEM majors in general, can definitely work on. And for that, we always have like CougarCS, Code Coogs, CSGirls, CougarCS, and all these different organizations that you can join. You can go to their meetings, you can go to their socials, and network with different people that are around your age, people that are not even around your age but are in the same grade, working towards the same goals as you are. There's so many different things that you could do just to make friends and learn about different people's experiences. And maybe who knows, if I become friends with person X and they're interning at a company X, they'll probably help me get into that company. And that has happened with me and with other people that I know. My friends have met other people and they've gotten internships and full-time jobs and whatnot through just networking. You don't even have to code, but you just have to network sometimes just to fetch those opportunities, which I feel like a lot of us are lacking currently. But yeah, that's one thing I would like to put it out there. Please network. A great place for networking, if you don't know, if you're confused, if you're new to U of H, is PGH 5th floor. Just stop by there, hang out. There's so many CS majors. Well, if you know, PGH 5th floor is where the Department of Computer Science is, where most CS majors hang out, where CougarCS offices, where a lot of CS professors also like just walk around, hang around. So you can meet them, you can talk to them, you can maybe learn about a person's experiences, work on a project with someone, and different things that you can do with them. Also, another thing is to get a job if you have the time to, if you have the bandwidth to do so. Get a part-time job with school. It looks good on your resume. It doesn't have to be really an office job if you can't find an office job. If you can, great. This is like at a very early stage before getting internships, but if you can, then great. If you can't, then just try finding whatever you can, because it looks good on your resume that you're working with something, that you're not just staying idle, just focusing on a school. Not saying that only focusing on a school doesn't help. It definitely helps, but always try to get yourself busy with some of the other things, and try to get work study if you can. That looks really, really good on your resume as well. But yeah, those are some suggestions from my side. Carolyn, if you would like to add anything.
Yeah, I totally agree with getting a part-time job. Right before I started my freshman year of college, excuse me, I applied to the University of Houston's IT help desk, and I worked there for about a semester and a half, before I switched to a different job. But I remember when I was applying for internships as a freshman, I didn't have a lot of experience on my resume, and I just had a couple of odd jobs and then the IT job, which was what I had currently had at the time, and I remember that would be brought up a lot in internships, or sorry, interviews for internships, and that was one of the things that got me my first internship was that I was involved in something. I currently had a job. I had like good grades. I was focused in school, and I was participating in clubs, and that really resonated with the recruiter that I was aligned with. So that's something that helped me get my first job and something that I'll be really grateful for. So for me the IT help desk was on campus. I I totally recommend you get an on campus job if you can, because it was just really convenient just to go in between classes or go after class and just work a shift, and things like that. Yeah, and then yeah, I totally agree with networking. I think one of the biggest struggles that I had when I first came to UH was meeting people. I first got into computer science when I was in high school, and I took programming classes where I was one of the only girls. Sometimes I was the only girl in the class. So it was really hard to be friends with other people when I was in high school. But as soon as I got to UH, there were a lot of girls in my classes. Even if like the gender ratio wasn't like the best, I always found it really beneficial to talk to other girls and meet with them because just meeting someone that's like you can really help you because then I wouldn't be so shy when asking for help on homework, or I wouldn't be so shy asking for someone to look over my resume and things like that. So I totally recommend um, talking to other people in classes and just joining clubs. I really love CSGirls for allowing me to network with other girls who care about their academic and career aspects of their lives.
Awesome. Yeah, I think I just wanted to add on to that a little bit. Just the, let me see. I just had a thought, but going back to networking, I feel like it's important to make friends as well, to surround yourself with like-minded people, and not even I wouldn't say this in like a bad way, but people that are like better than you. And that could be, that sounds terrible, but but just that are like, I don't know, maybe they have a job already, or maybe something you can like learn from them. So surround yourself with those people, and they will help you. They will help push you forward, and in like in response, you'll help push them forward as well. So it's just like you guys will be sort of moving in the same direction. And let me see. Regarding like just one thing I wanted to mention is probably kind of funny, but drinking water is important. So I was like, I always carry a water bottle around, and like it gets hot in Houston, and like like water helps you, it helps you be more active, and it burns like more calories in your body if you drink a lot of water. So your metabolism is gonna work better if you have more water in your system. So definitely get a water bottle if you don't have one yet, and use those water fountains. Um, yeah. So let me just check. Yeah. Ali, do you have any suggestions? Any else? Something you wanted to say, maybe?
I mean, I feel like that covers a lot of things. I would like to ask the audience actually what like you guys think has helped you
Yeah.
in college. What are some resources that you think you should recommend? Because like we want to make this meeting not like Yuri, me here, Carolyn, and I just talking and like blabbering about information throughout like an hour, but we want to involve you guys as well and just make it more informal as well. So can you guys hop in? Can someone just hop in and talk about what resources have helped them in college?
Right. Yeah, and so we don't get like multiple people talking at the same time. You guys can just raise your hands, and then we'll call on you. I know it'll be a little hard, but just so people don't talk over each other. So you can just raise your hand. No. I see a hand up. I think Amma
Yeah,
or Safwan.
Safwan, yeah. I was just curious about building my leadership skills, and I was curious about how you guys would find leadership positions or just build leadership skills in general at UH.
Gotcha. Does anybody want to tackle this one first?
Yeah, definitely I can. So leadership is very important because like it definitely like when you get a leadership position or just an officer position at a even if it's a small org, not something big like CougarCS, Coogs or CSGirls, if it's really like a small org and you get a leadership position or like a founding president or whatever, it adds a whole different section on a resume, and it adds like about 10 minutes of convo you can hold in an interview. When an interviewer asks you about what you've done other than school, you can talk about this, that hey, I've led this really cool organization of 10 people and I did this, that, and it's really cool. Because companies don't really want you to be a good employee, as in you just get the work done on time. They want you to also be a good person. That's what matters a lot to a lot of companies, because anyone can code, anyone can learn how to code, because you can learn the most skills you learn you will learn at the job itself or in your internship itself. But what matters is how good of a human being you are, which you'll learn from leadership positions or officer positions and stuff like that. When I was at U of H, I was like, when I started off, I wasn't an officer, I wasn't a member of anything. I started off as a CougarCS member. I joined Code Red Artemis as an officer. I was the director of communications back in 2021. Great experience. I made some friends, learned a lot. And then next year I applied for VP Code Red at CougarCS. I got that position where I was working with, the executive board at CougarCS, figuring out like different executive tasks we would do for the welfare of the organization and the members of the organization, and it was super fun. And then I was leading Houston's largest hackathon, the Premier Hackathon, and made so many friends. I got the opportunity to interview so many different types of people just for officer positions and be in that position where I was once before. And whenever I spoke about that role in any of my interviews last year, it always stood out to my interviewer, because that made them feel like I was a great person and a great employee overall for them to hire. And I just don't know to code, but I can also talk and hold up a conversation, which is where it matters a lot.
Awesome. Yeah, I just wanted to add on to that. I feel like what Ali mentioned is like is very good. Like networking is a big part of it, and I feel like just putting yourself out there. Just don't be afraid to do stuff. Like the Nike slogan, just do it. Like it's hard, and it's hard to put yourself into uncomfortable situations, but you have to learn to do that because you won't grow if you don't do that. I started out as like I transferred to U of H from UT El Paso, and I just had like I don't know, a bunch of motivation because I was living on my own, and I was like, okay, I can sort out the day pretty much. I can plan it out however I want to. I can organize like what I need to buy that week or something like that. So that's just another like side way. If you have the opportunity to transfer to a different university, I would highly encourage it, because not only will it make you grow, but you'll meet a bunch of new people. Don't worry about like losing your friends. Like you're always gonna make friends. I didn't know anybody when I came to UH. Now I know like a lot of people. I think, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3. I'm just kidding, but and I feel like that's important, is just to like put yourself out there, look for opportunities. Remember to ask questions. If you want something, don't be passive about it. Like ask for it, because if you don't ask for things, like you're not gonna get it. If you're just gonna wait for an opportunity to be given to you, it's never gonna happen. Just don't be like there's like a phrase like a wallflower on the wall. Like, okay, that's cool. You can just sit there and do nothing, but that's not gonna get you anywhere. You have to be proactive. You have to look for these opportunities. My background like comes from I joined the Teach Houston program when I transferred. They were just talking about it, and I found it cool. And I had like I didn't have that great of teachers, and I felt like I could make an impact on that. I don't want to teach her like right after college, but sometime later in my life. And that opportunity allowed me to be in the Teachers and Students Society, and I got a leadership position as a historian. And I served that during COVID, and it was such a big experience. I feel like, especially during COVID, like being just like subjected to different style of like communication, and we were able to keep the club alive with different events and like pretty much everything online. And then um, like after that, I kind of spent a lot of time like studying on my own, just networking, putting myself out there, just talking to people. I remember like for a year, like right after COVID happened, I was just studying in my room all the time. But I was like, this ain't good. I need to make sure my grades aren't as good, and they're not. But like, I didn't want to focus on studying too much because I wasn't being very social and I wasn't focusing on my social life. So I decided to like go to a bunch of events, and so I did. I found out about Coogs, and then I became like a team lead for that. I started being friends like really good with Jake, so he was the previous president, and that's how he kind of asked me if I wanted to be president. And so I just took that opportunity, and that was just because like I was going to the general meetings and then just going to the events, being a team lead and just being his friend. So he saw something in me that and then just decided to give me an offer if I wanted to be president. So I feel like just looking for those opportunities, it's just like you want to see as any opportunity too as like as a way for you to grow. Like don't feel like maybe a mistake or something like that. Maybe a setback is like the end of the world. Don't look at it like that. Just like anything, like literally anything is a way for you to grow. It's just the way you decide to perceive it or look at it. You can turn any shitty situation into a good one. It's just a matter of mindset and being like just focusing on like the other side, I guess. So just a matter of perspective. And yeah, I just wanted to give some room and maybe someone else can add on to it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think definitely this goes back to networking. I first got my position at CSGirls because I knew the current president is Daisy. We met when we were freshmen. We met in calculus, which is kind of silly now that we think about it. But because I met her and because she was so focused on her career and her academics, I really found someone that I resonated with and someone that I could grow my career with and grow academically. So I think like networking and talking to people, like there are some really amazing people that are taking the classes that you're taking right now. Like you could be sitting next to someone that's like really amazing and has leadership experience, and you just don't know because you don't talk to them. So I really recommend like talking to people in classes, or going to meetings like CougarCS and CSGirls and Code Coogs. Like there are some really amazing and really passionate people. Really putting yourself out there, especially when you're looking for officer positions, it's really giving you a leg up when the people interviewing you for the officer position already know that you're a good candidate, that you're really passionate, that you want to learn and you want to grow. So it makes you seem reliable and it makes you look like a good person overall. So I really just recommend just putting yourself out there and talking to people, because it's not even about the leadership position, it's just about learning that there are great people around you. Like, I'm in Team Tux for Code Coogs, um, and I've met some great people there. Yeah, and they're really passionate about the work. So if you ever like want to do hackathons or something, I I'm never shy to just ask like, hey, like, does anyone want to do a hackathon with me? Like, yeah, like there's so many people that are passionate and they're all around you.
Yeah. Thank you, Carolyn. Mihir, do you want to add on to that?
Yeah, so while we're still on the topic of networking, I do want to add that there's a bunch of events that you can attend to meet new people, right? that are outside of just your friend group or your acquaintances. I know Yuri knows about this. Like, there's this great event every Friday called Cup of Joy at the Ion, and the Ion is like this building. It's like this incubator, really, for innovation. And at this event, you can go and meet people, professionals in the field. They're working. Um, and these are, developers, entrepreneurs, small business owners, and you can really like talk to them and, learn about how everything works in the real world. And Yuri, like, did you meet anyone today that you can talk about?
Yeah, so I had to leave a little bit early, but yeah, I just posted the link to the Ion, so you guys can check it out in the announcements. But yeah, like Mihir was saying, it's just like pretty much just a place for like startups to meet and a lot of people to just like network, entrepreneur, um, and just yeah, there's a Cup of Joey. I think it's named after the guy. He was like his name was Joey,
Mhm.
and they have that at from 8:30 to 10:30 on Fridays. Like if you want to get out of your comfort zone, do that shit because like it's so like weird like because there's a bunch of people like talking and then it's like you have to introduce yourself to the circle but not like a circle. There's like a bunch of little groups like talking to each other and so like just like come through, mingle, buy a cup of coffee. They're pretty cheap too. And yeah, it's just a good way to network. Like you can meet a potential employee there as well, that will give you an opportunity or give you some guidance, maybe some like insight into what they went through, or just give you some helpful tips. Um, yeah. And let me just see. I'll post another link. Probably they have, where is it at? Events and programs. But yeah, again, like Cup of Joey every Friday at 8:30 to 10:30. Their parking is free. Um, you'll see it once you come to the building. There's like a big lot on the left. And yeah, you can just park there, come chill on Fridays, 8:30 to 10:30, and they have it every Friday. And it's a very good opportunity to network. And yeah, just to kind of wrap up the networking aspect. I mean, unless you guys want to add on more, but I like to think of it as like a game of I don't know if you guys played like Slidario where you gotta become the biggest snake. But instead of that, is just think of it as like networking and you're just like there's another game and it's like a circle and you try to like become the biggest circle. But um think of that as like networking. And so the more people you know, the more opportunities you will have and the more opportunity you have to grow. Um and so it's just about being like a people person, just putting yourself out there again. Yeah. And let's switch it up a bit and then we can go over, I guess, I think some people had questions. I'm sorry. Let me, let's see you guys. If you guys still have your hand up from last time, please put it down. And then
I think the next person is Johannes. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing your name right, but I'm sorry if I screwed that up.
gotcha. Thank you, Ali.
Yeah.
It's fine, you got it. So my question is for technical interviews, how do you guys prepare for those? Do you research the company first and see what they do, or do you just do like a general review of the language that you're planning to use?
That's a great question. I would like to go first, if you guys don't mind. But yeah, so technical interviews, it really depends from company to company. What you can do is first learn more about the company to see what type of technical interviews they ask. Like if you're applying to Fang or Mang now, you know that they're going to ask you a little bit difficult or more difficult questions than some mid-level companies. So you know that you have to do lead code. You have to practice easy, mediums, hard lead codes, and you need to get those done. Another one like good resource for practicing lead code is needcode.io. I'm sure a lot of you guys know already, but for those who don't know, is this website by this guy whose name is anonymous. Everyone just calls him Needcode, and he basically has this list of curated lead code questions There's line 75, there's Neat Code 150, and there's Neat Code All, which you can practice one by one, topic by topic. And if you get stuck somewhere, he has like in-depth optimal solutions videos for each questions on YouTube that he has solved. He explains you the visual like presentation of that problem, and then he also codes it for you. There's different languages that he codes in as well, so that's a great resource to start learning technical interview practice. Another really good resource is Cracking the Coding Interview. As some might say, it's the Bible for technical interviews. A really good book to read. They also have like at the starting of the book, they have like the Google interview, the Microsoft interview, the Palantir interview, the Amazon interview. They're divided like each company subsection by subsection, and they go over like what each company expects you to be like and what each company asks you. You can also join the server. It's called CSGirls.dev. They have this bot which you can search up. There's a command for it, and then you just search up, and then they tell you the leading or like super popular questions within that company that one company is particularly asking. So you can be like, oh, exclamation mark problems for Microsoft, and the bot will basically give you a response saying that this company is asking these all lead code questions recently to its interviewees and stuff like that. So these three resources are great for like learning and getting things started. They'll getting the ball rolled basically for technical interview practice. There's definitely more that maybe I don't know that Yuri, me here, or Carolyn might know, but these are some of the top resources that I would recommend.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's very important to just like I didn't have very much like technical interviews except like the online assessments. And I had like 2 offers so far for internships. I had one from Credera and I had one from JP that I took for the summer. And you guys can look, I posted a file like how I got offers. It's just pretty like self-explanatory. I think my resume helped like the work experience I had, but I actually didn't have like any technical interviews in that. And I feel like that's another aspect that's important to focus on is like don't be afraid to just like apply to a company, apply to interviews. Like it's okay to fail. And I think like that's what you should do, because otherwise like you won't learn from your mistakes. I'm not saying like don't don't strive for failure, but just it'll help you become more confident in interviews and things like that. But yeah, it's just like at my Credera interview, they just asked me to show my project, and so I did, and then that was the technical interview. And then for JP Morgan, if you guys look at the file, it was mostly like I actually attended it with Ali, and that's how we met. So another like, hey, emphasis on networking, and we basically like got an offer from that hackathon, and it was like Code for Good. They usually open up applications in August. Usually a lot of companies like start around that time. Nice Minecraft background here. And basically they they open up a lot of the like applications in August, September for most of the companies. So I would like encourage you guys to apply like as soon as possible too. But yeah, I'm not too proficient at like technical interviews. It's just focus on like just solving problems in general, because they won't give you like don't practice memorizing a problem, practice your problem solving skills in general. That way it'll give you the opportunity to, if you haven't seen that problem, you'll be able to solve it. And I think that's what makes you stand out more, is that like you have the problem solving skills. Me here, Carolyn, do you guys want to add on to that? I think I'm good. Mihir, you're on mute.
Sorry, guys, that keeps happening.
That's okay.
No, I think you guys explained it very well.
Awesome. I see someone has their hand up. You can go because it's only you. I can't see the name. Sorry. Or Naomi?
Yes. Hi. I'm a freshman computer science major, and I was just wondering what would be some good opportunities to like job opportunities or research opportunities in the summer. What would be a good way to spend like your freshman year summer, or just in general what to do in the summer?
Gotcha. I'll answer this one pretty quick. I mean, at least my side. So, there's a so if you guys don't know about a work study, basically it's like if you have financial assistance, you'll most likely have it. If you haven't applied through it on FAFSA, please do so. If you didn't check that box if you want work study or not, that's one great resource. If you don't have that, look for just a part-time job that might be even on campus that could be like IT related. That way it won't give you the necessary like software skills, but it'll give you like problem solving. For instance, on my part, I work at the College of Medicine for IT, and I've been there since like I think since COVID, and I was just given that opportunity because I think they were sending out an email about work study positions, and I was actually looking for one, and it kind of like came last minute. But I've been working there for a long time, and what I got to learn from there is like just problem solving skills in general. So that's just relating to jobs like maybe on campus. Another great opportunity is like there's like coding schools. I know there's iCode, like Code Ninjas. I know there's Coder Kids. I'd say like Coder Kids is pretty good, and it's a little biased because I worked there for like about a year. They pay pretty well, and it's a pretty easy job to maintain. You guys can just look it up, and there's like applications on there. I'll post it in the announcements too. I think they might still be hiring for the summer, and it's a good opportunity because you'll make a lot of money. Since it's like I don't know how long they go for, but like maybe even 8 hours each day, and so they'll pay you like maybe 17, I think, dollars an hour. So that's a good opportunity. But besides that, I don't know if anybody else wants to add on to that.
Yeah, yeah, I have some tips to add on to that. There are these pre-internship programs that a lot of top tech companies offer. There's Amazon Propel, if you have heard of it. It's basically the same SDE intern position that a regular candidate goes through, but for Propel, I think it's more focused on minorities or like those type of groups that are like considered as minorities. So if you are a part of that group, then you can apply, and it makes things easier for you to get in. That's, I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but don't comment me on that. That's one. There's also Meta University, which is by Facebook. They put you through this like leadership and coding internship program, pre-internship program. They pay you for that as well, and then you go through that program over the summer with them. There's Google CSSI. So if you just graduated high school and you're incoming college freshman, then you can do Google CSSI. You can work through a bunch of projects, and then next year we can apply for Google Step, which is also a Google's like internship program for freshmen and sophomores, which helps you to get a sweet internship at Google. And these are all paid programs. If you want to know more about unpaid programs to keep you occupied with a less of a time commitment, something what I did with IBM was called IBM Accelerate. That's what helped me get an internship at IBM, which is what I'm currently doing. I'm a backend engineer intern at IBM. I'm doing a co-op internship with them. So I got that internship through that IBM Accelerate program on the software track. So you can apply through that. That's unpaid, but you get to learn a lot. You get to network with IBM professionals all around the United States, and it helps you build your resume, helps you build your professional skills, and many other things, stuff like that. I'm sure other companies also have these pre-internship programs that are out there for you. And definitely, if you're a freshman or sophomore, attend UH career fairs, because there's so many companies like hiring freshmen and sophomores. Maybe recent career fair wasn't as big as others that I've personally witnessed in the past because of the current, economical conditions. But usually career fairs are much bigger than this, and I hope that they will be from the next semester and onwards. But definitely attend those. They are a really, really good place to find internships and work opportunities. But yeah, that's all to add from my side.
I would like to add something. So I want to add that like certifications can really help you get internships for sure. So I know certifications are like especially helpful in like IT and cybersecurity related roles. So if you're, I don't know if you guys have heard of CompTIA. CompTIA is actually one of the like best and most well-known certification providers for IT, cybersecurity, networking, all that stuff. So things like that. And I know also Cisco, for example, Cisco Meraki. I believe they also offer certifications, as well as IBM. So it's super important that like you do check out certifications, because if you get a certification for a certain company, right, and then apply to that company later on, if they see that you do have a certification that was issued by them, that's really a good look, right? That really increases your chances of getting into the company like exponentially. So definitely check those out. Also, certs are just a great way to incentivize yourself to study, right? To study more and learn more about that content. For example, I learned about the Pentest Plus, the CompTIA Pentest Plus, which is about penetration testing in cybersecurity. So I'm actually gonna go for that like soon, and hopefully I get it. But the point is like they really do help, and so that's always an option if you guys do want to like uh like get an easier way of like getting into these internships.
Awesome. Does anybody have any questions as of right now? I know Naomi, is it from the last time you have your hand raised?
Yes, thank you for
Gotcha.
answering.
Oh, I can add on to that real quick. There are some programs that you could probably find for the summer. I know there's CodePath. They have these pathways that you can do for cybersecurity, for iOS development, for Android development, for web development that you can take. You do have to apply for these programs. I think there's also Major League Hacking that does a summer program where you can learn things about like web development and React and things like that. I'm also part of some nonprofit organizations like Girls Who Code, there's NC Wit, and then there's Color Stack. I usually get their email listings or participate in their Slack, and they constantly post about job opportunities and internship opportunities. So if I'm ever not interested in like an internship, I always make sure to give it to my friend, like, hey, like this sounds like something that you would like. So I always keep my eye out for places that post those kinds of things, because I think one thing about networking, sorry to go back on the topic, but one thing about networking is that you don't have to know everything yourself. Sometimes you can know someone who knows someone that knows something. So that's also a really good resource to use.
I think one of our really good resource we kind of like skipped on or missed out on is our like emphasized importance on is how important of a tool for networking is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is one of the top-notch professional like applications out there that you could use to network with anyone around the world. You can literally just make a profile there. It shouldn't take you that long. You just have to put in your education, experience, volunteering stuff, and just some basic stuff. Connect with people, and it literally tells you what Carolyn just told, that it tells you connections of connections, and it can tell you like you share this mutual connection with this person, and then you can just connect through that. You can make groups on LinkedIn, and there's so many different things that you can. There's also a LinkedIn job page that you can just click on and just find opportunities there. Another thing, which is really important, hear me out. If you're a UH student, you get free LinkedIn Learning, which is literally like school. It helps you learn. There's coding videos out there. There's curated videos by like professionals helping you learn tech stacks, or whether it's a programming language, it could be anything, whether it's cloud or whatever you say, UI, UX, anything. You can learn that through LinkedIn Learning, and you can get that for free as a UH student. So yeah.
Yeah, that Ali brought up a great point. Like LinkedIn is a must. Like if you're honestly like it's literally like a cheat code to getting like a job or an internship. And it's super helpful, like you said, with networking. Like whenever you meet someone new, like especially in the professional world, there's a really good chance that they do have LinkedIn, right? So LinkedIn is a great way to kind of compile all your contacts, right? And like if you say you are in touch with like a lot of people, either at work or just in general, right? Like if you ever need to find someone, if you ever want to see their history, what they've been up to, like LinkedIn is the best way to do that, right? And also recruiters, like recruiters are on LinkedIn and they're looking for candidates, and like honestly, you can literally just find recruiters on LinkedIn and DM them directly. And that's a great way of like, getting that first step um to like, trying to find an internship or applying for one.
Yeah, thank you guys. Mr. Frank, I saw your hand up, and maybe maybe you wanted to add on something?
No. What I wanted to talk about earlier was what Alize mentioned earlier.
Gotcha. Okay. Does anybody have any questions up to this point? Danush?
Hi, I'm a freshman CS major. I just wanted to know how did you guys start lead code and how often do you code?
I don't. I'm just kidding. No. It's just practicing. Like I know HackerRank has a good like I'll post it right now, but HackerRank has like these good like exercises. Some of them have like wrong answers for some reason, but it's only like 1% of them, I think. But HackerRank is a pretty good resource in addition to like LeetCode Blind 75. You guys can look up that information, but they basically give you like kind of the meat of like what you need to learn for like either problem solving or like just general technical interview questions. I think someone else can add on to that more lead codey than me.
I don't code either. It's just like I haven't really coded in a really long time. If you ask me about lead code specifically, like Yuri said a couple like minutes ago, he didn't really need lead code to crack his interviews because he hasn't really had that many technical interviews. It's kind of been similar for me. So currently I'm on my third internship. I'll be in my fourth internship in the summer. For my first internship, I had a technical interview. For my second internship, I had a technical interview, but I wasn't really asked for any like coding questions. Third interview, I was kind of asked for coding questions, but not really those lead code style hardcore questions, just basic questions. And a lot of roles that I applied for were also data engineering, data science roles. So I wasn't really asked lead code. I was asked more about like, like use NumPy and pandas or like just Python libraries to load up a CSV file and alter it or like loop through it or do something with it, traverse through it or something like that. So I don't really have had the need to practice lead code that much, but I have when I used to. I would just do blind 75, like I mentioned earlier on leetcode.io. I wouldn't really go hardcore lead code mode because I can't do that. Because I just really like bores me up really quick. That's just me. And also, how much do I code? I feel like all of us CS majors have that phase when you're coding like many hours in a day, especially that time when you're taking data structures and algos and all those classes. But then after that time passes, you aren't really like coding that much because most of your classes are very theory based than more coding based. Like you see databases, you see software design, you see maybe software design later in the semester you code automata theory, you don't really code that much. 30-20, you don't really code on the computer. You kind of do, not that much, but you write pseudocode more. And you analyze the time complexity of an algorithm more. That's what matters. So you don't really code that much for your like academics, but you code for your personal projects more, and that really differs from person to person. So if you ask me how much do I code every day, I don't really code that much, probably an hour here and there. Yeah.
I want to add one thing. Not all coding is the same, right? Like what we're talking about right now is lead coding, right? Algorithmic programming. That's not the same thing as like, coding for web dev or coding the back end of a website or something, right? Um, Oftentimes, I mean, for me personally, like lead coding is very boring, right? Whereas if I'm doing something like web dev, if I'm doing like creating like a Discord bot, if I'm working on like my own application, that's way more fun than actually just doing lead code, right? So there is a big difference because there are different types of coding. Um, so yeah, just wanted to point out that difference.
Yeah, I think for me, I don't do a lot of leak code. Um, I remember when I was a freshman and I was applying to internships, I would get technical interviews that had things to do with like binary trees or like linked lists or sorting. I didn't know anything at the time, but I think something about technical interviews, especially like if you're a freshman or a sophomore, is that they're not expecting too much of you. They're if you don't know something, you can admit that you don't know something, but it's about like the mindset and how you think through the question. Even if you don't get the question right, it's always like, what kind of person are you and how do you tackle challenges? But I don't use LeetCode that much. But when I do, I like looking at neetcode.io. So like if I don't know how to approach something, like there's resources that will help you um, to get that mindset and to have that, yeah, sorry, to get that mindset and to like know how to approach problems. Um, but I think one resource to help you get started, like with personal projects, is I've heard that the Odin project is really good for learning how to do web development, like JavaScript or Ruby on Rails. I have not had the chance to try that yet, but I've heard it's really good and I'm really excited for that.
If I may add on to this myself, there is no exact one path for everything, and this is inclusive within CS as a whole. You don't even need a degree to get a job within CS, and just like that, you don't really need to know that much LeetCode questions to get where you want to as well, because there are many companies that believe like they can teach you how to code, but if you need to know yourself how to communicate, work as a team, be a leader, all of those sorts of attributes you need to do on your own, because they're not willing to teach you that. They can teach you how to code, but if you're not good at communicating your thoughts, your ideas, all that sorts of stuff, they're less likely to hire you than someone that can do like the LeetCode 150 like off the top of their head. There's also the fact that, and maybe it's just me personally, but not all companies are the same in that sense, where like not all of them will give you like a straight up technical interview like off the bat. I've gone through way more behavioral interviews and online assessments than technicals alone. And then there's also the fact that I feel like, in my opinion, depending on where you go, the behavioral interview may be more important, because that's where they ask you about your resume, and then more of your side projects, they go in depth about it. So if you have like a personal website within your resume and you put as one of your skills, or even on like that resume that you use SQL, they will ask you SQL specific questions. So to that sense, I feel like it is more important to focus on yourself and side projects than lead coding. But also, again, it just depends on where you go, because I've had some places like straight off the bat gave me like lead code questions, and then some are just straight up behavioral instead. So there's no one way, there's no one interview, no one size fits all formula in this case.
Right, yeah, and I feel like it's just a big misconception, like where you have to do a bunch of like lead code problems to get a job, and it's not really like that. I feel like even what I heard from like, so we had the main panel yesterday, and some of the panelists were talking about how even on lead coding or like technical interview questions, what'll happen is like they'll ask you a question, and usually like don't try to bullshit it, don't try to just be honest. If you don't know how to solve the question, you can like say like, can I have a hint, or just ask for some test cases. But basically that'll show them that you're not afraid to ask questions first, and then that like you're, I don't know, you're willing to learn as well. So the interviewer will actually help you come to a solution for a technical interview question. I feel like that's a very important part to consider. And like just keep your goal as like you wanna first of all get interviews, and you do that just by basically having a strong resume. And the best way is to go through like the career fairs, and joining like another thing I would recommend is like joining a company that you want to apply for, like their talent network. I posted a link in the announcements, or the events, I'm sorry, I've been posting a bunch of stuff since the meeting. I just like, we're gonna make a Google Doc and then we'll post it, but just there's stuff in there for now. But yeah, so like you're joining a company's talent network, and you can find them just by looking like for, let's say, JP Morgan. You can just search up JP Morgan Talent Network, and then you'll find it. And you can join that, and they have like exclusive events for that talent network. I had the opportunity to go to their open house last summer, and I think that helped me get a position there this summer, as well as going to their Code for Good hackathon. So is just like, don't focus on the lead code too much. Focus on getting an interview and like sharpening your, just not like doing like basic algorithms, like having sorry, what is it called, like just familiarity with let's say like the standard template library, if you guys are familiar with the like C++, just being able to like come up with solutions on the spot, and using like a language to your advantage, either that be Python or Java or C++, knowing how they work. And because sometimes you'll usually have to use like, so for like C++ vector, the vector class, I think that's sort of, I'm just like not too good in C++, but like it's very useful to create solutions because it's literally like you can create pretty easy or you can manipulate data pretty easily with that class. I saw a hand up to I think or Lee Fook. It has the ID. I just don't know your name.
Yeah. So
Gotcha.
my question is, do you guys have any tips for like international students that are like studying computer science to be successful? Because like we cannot really find internships. So do you guys have any tips for us to be successful?
Right. Yeah, so regarding that, it's going to be tougher for international students, like much tougher, since you guys have to go through the gap of getting a sponsorship. But my close friend of mine, he had a position, and I think he was just applying. Like, keep in mind that there's companies out there that are specifically looking for like international students as well, that are more open to it, and some do not, and that sucks. But I would just like apply to as many companies as possible. There isn't really like as at least for me, a specific tip on how to get a position as an international student, because I didn't have to go through that. But if anybody else wants to add on to that.
Yeah, I can add on some things. So I mean, the advice really stays the same. Like for networking, do network, please, because it helps you progress personally, professionally, in every way. Know everything, like whatever an international student knows. I think y'all need to know everything what someone who's a U.S. citizen or a U.S. permanent resident knows as well, because the aim is to get into the same industry. That's the end goal, no matter how you get in, how early you get in, how later you get in. So the advice still stays the same. It's just that the application process to companies will be different. So apply to companies that explicitly say that they don't mind sponsoring you, because some companies, for example, JP Morgan, right? They literally tell you that they won't be able to sponsor. They don't sponsor any international applications. At least that's how it has been so far, and at least that's how I have known so far, that JP Morgan doesn't sponsor. Maybe that might change in the nearest future, and I hope it changes. So it helps all the international students as well. But that's how it is. So make sure you read before you apply and don't just blindly apply, because I've seen a lot of international students blindly apply and waste time, and then just to realize that, oh, they're being rejected just because they're international. So don't waste time behind that. Instead, brush up your interviewing skills and wait until you can actually find a company that is valuing you and that you can value for your long-term goals, and that will actually help you get like, you know, sponsorship for a visa or extend your stay here in the United States. But just do that and do everything else that a regular CS major who is also in state does. That will definitely help you. But yeah, I hope that answers your question. And if no one has anything else to answer, we can pass it off to the next question. I think it's by Ryan.
Hello, you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. I'm Ryan. I'm a junior. I'm majoring in math. So my question was, so the strategies that you talked about with like CS career opportunities, can they be applied to, let's say if I want to go into like the data science or data analyst industry, can that be applied?
Yeah, definitely. Why not? I mean, you won't really find needcode.io that useful, perhaps, because
Mhm.
you know NeetCode is more focused on data structures and algorithms and cracking that coding interview, that traditional coding interview where they ask you to invert a binary tree. You may not be asked that, but you might be
Yeah.
asked, oh, how do I find the maximum value of a column in a CSV file through Python? And if you want to do that, you can go out, look up resources in Udemy. I think Udemy has this one course. It's called Python for Data Science and Machine Learning. It's a really, really good course. That's how I learned Python for Data Science and Machine Learning. But there are resources out there for data science as well. On UH, there's a Cougar Mathletics Club. I'm not sure if you're in that. Since you're a
Yeah.
math major, those people always talk about data science. And there's also
Right.
CS majors who are interested in data science. Also, Dr. Risk, a great amazing resource. She teaches data science 1 and data science 2 at U of H, and she also teaches data structures. You can reach out to her. You can talk to her whenever she's available during her office hours. And you can just be like, oh, hey, this is my situation. I'm a math major junior, and I'm interested in data science. What can I do to excel in this field and participate in opportunities that are coming my way? There's also a brand new data science organization at UH that just opened last semester. It was started by Dr. Polyak and Dr. Wang from the math department. They started like this data science organization. I don't know what it's called, but it
It's called
recently
Cougars
just
of Data
started.
Science.
Yeah, Cougar Data Science. It recently just started off. You can participate in their events. You can attend data science hackathons. You can go to MLH.io, Major League Hacking, which also has some specific only data science related hackathons. Participate that, make some projects, and just apply. I applied to Charles Schwab as a data engineer, and I got in actually last year. I applied for this summer, and the interview was fairly easy. All they asked was not super hard. They asked me some database related questions. I didn't really know database back then, but even though I kind of like messed up or screwed up in that interview, I got the internship at the end of the day. I'm not going there because I didn't want to do data engineering at the end of the day, but I'm just putting it out there that it's one company that you could apply to. I know Fidelity Investments hires data science majors a lot. And then JP Morgan also has a ton of opportunities for data science and AI. So make sure to check them out as well.
Thank you so much for the opportunities. Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Awesome. Justine?
Where are you guys posting this stuff?
Could you say that again?
Where are you guys
Oh.
like posting?
The recording?
No, you said you were like posting links or like some files.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's in the Code Coogs events channel.
Okay.
Yeah. Let me know when you find it. Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah.
Sorry. Did you say it's in the CougarCS or?
So this event is pretty much like a partnership between or collaboration between Code Coogs, CougarCS, and CSGirls. But sorry, I think you asked like which Discord, and this isn't the Code Coogs Discord.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Does anybody have any other questions?
So Yuri, if no one has any questions, I have a question for you and the entire panel actually. So if you guys would have to start over all again, like college, what would you guys do as a freshman? So let's start off with Yuri, right? What would you do as a freshman?
Yeah, probably I started on this late, like very late, and that's just like learning outside of the UH curriculum. So I mean, you are going to be going over through coursework, and like literally you will have plenty of time if you're not working, you will have plenty of time to study outside of the classroom. And one thing I would one thing I would emphasize on focusing is like web dev. It's easy to get into, and it's really easy for you to find a job if you know web dev pretty well. And there's a bunch of resources online. I recommend Udemy too. But like I feel like for general like front end stuff, you can find a lot of good information on YouTube too. Even like there's resources like Free Code Camp, and again like a bunch of YouTube videos. So I, as a freshman, I would just grind out like studying external information, learning like different frameworks, just expanding my knowledge base as outside of the curriculum that's in the classroom. And start on it as early as possible, because that way you'll be prepared like for interviews. You'll have actually skills that the employers will want, and that will make you stand out more. And that way you won't be stressing like for an interview as like as you come to be a senior, because that's what I've been doing. I've been hella stressing, and I I've actually like extended my time in school just so I could have a like a an internship. And but don't be afraid of that. Just I would start early, and even if you don't get a position during your time in school, it's pretty much like I've heard this over and over again, and it's like it's not that hard to get a position as like a starting software engineer at a company, because they do look for like new grads as well, even if you don't have any prior experience. But I see a lot of like hands up. So I don't remember who went first. I think Frank. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So I'm just
Shit,
putting in
right.
my input as well. Just to Alexandre's question. I have like literally two big regrets right now that if I could start over, I 100% would, but like it's way past that. But the first one is not speedrunning college. I took winter mini classes, summer classes, all that sorts of stuff, basically just to graduate as soon as possible. But because of that, I had less time to not only focus on myself, my mental health, all that sorts of stuff, focus on my own self-improvement, but also focus on projects. So because of that, my side projects are very lacking because I've been doing classes without break, basically from college to like from starting college to now. And then also the fact that because of the fact that I'm graduating early, that just means less time, again, for projects, but also for internships, which I feel like is certainly important, because if you get some good internships in, it will be easier for you to find full time. Let's say, for example, if you get a return offer, for example, it makes it way less stressful than it needs to be. But even then, the prior experience will definitely help you land even more experiences. And then my other big regret is basically just not paying attention in some of my classes, because some of them are genuinely important, even if like the class seems easy or like you can commit academic dishonesty with them, which I wouldn't recommend doing, by the way. But there are classes like operating systems where I feel like I should have paid attention more, because in my opinion, it to a certain extent it is, especially depending on where you go, it could be very impactful. Same thing with computer architecture. But the main thing for me, I guess, would be databases, just because you're going to use databases anywhere. If you're in CS, you're going to see databases anywhere. Doesn't matter if you're front end or not, like you're going to see it eventually. And so just because of the fact that I am not too familiar with databases and I decided not to pay attention that well or understand it that properly, that is another like just big mistake that I've made on my end, but it is what it is, you know?
Yeah, not to like keep beating a dead horse, but I also like wish that I focused more on personal projects. I know that there's the web dev committee from CougarCS, there's the teams from Code Coogs, and there's also it's nearly developed, but there's also the professional development committee at CSGirls. You can be involved in those really easily. You just have to like participate. And you could be in a team, you can like learn a bunch of new skills and collaborate. But I totally wish that I focused more on like personal projects and learned stuff outside of class. Because even if you don't have a lot of experience on your resume, uh, sometimes during interviews, they'll an interviewer will like pick apart like one of the projects that I did. It's like, can you tell me more about this project that you did? Like, yeah, like absolutely. Like, I really like this project. It used X, Y, and Z framework or technology or language and stuff like that. So yeah.
Yeah, John? You might be muted if you're talking.
Hello, I'm John.
Oh, hello,
Okay,
hello,
there
John.
we go. Hello. No, I was wondering more for other people, especially for freshmen, how did y'all find like support? Because we know computer science can be daunting and overwhelming for some people. How did you guys find support and like make you encouraged to keep going in this degree?
I think like for me, I think persistence is very important. It's just I describe myself as a very persistent person too. Just like keep pushing through it. Make sure you do your own work, because if you just copy from other people, like you won't learn anything. It's important to sit there for hours and debug, because debugging is like, I wouldn't say it's 50%. It's like it's more than that. 70%, someone's saying over here. But it's just like debugging is an important part of programming. You literally just have to sit there and like go through the horror of sitting there and trying to figure out what's wrong with your code, and using resources online. That'll make you better. I would call it like information retrieval, finding answers online, and that'll help you in every aspect of your life, where you can find information as quickly as you need just by like knowing a proper way to import like the search criteria. And then just like being persistent on that, and finding like people around you that are pretty good at programming too. So like make some friends that are like with smart people in your class, or who seem like they've been programming for a while, because they'll show you some stuff. They'll help you like debug your code quicker, and as a result, you'll learn faster. Another thing is like focusing on your mental health. I can't stress this enough, especially like from my personal experience, because keeping your mental health sane will keep you motivated to keep going in the long term, because nobody wants to do anything when they're unmotivated. And it's much easier to do anything when you are motivated. So like keeping check with your mental health. I've literally been like uh kind of personal, but I'm like an open book. I describe myself. So it's just I've been to like several psychiatric hospitals during my time in college. And I don't really talk about this, but um like I almost ended up dropping out of school, and then I had to like talk to all my professors, get their signatures to get back into school, because I was going through some shit, and that was like before COVID. But it just made me realize that I wasn't taking care of my mental health. I was sleeping super late, just like trying to get assignments done. I was a very like person where I would say like yes to a lot of things, but in the end you have to say no to some of your friends and focus on school instead, to just keep your mental health in check. And if you guys need resources on campus, or if you need someone to talk to, like feel free to reach out to me. I know it's daunting like to go to like a psychologist, a psychiatrist. It's daunting to be on medication, but it will help your life. Like we just have chemical imbalances in our head, and things will get tough. But if you just like seek help, you will get better as a result. And yeah, so like mental health, very important. And there is services on campus like CAPS. They provide like I think psychological services, but sometimes it takes it takes a little while to get an appointment set up. They'll see you right away, but I would recommend actually, like if you're going through some of that, just try to find a psychologist and sort out your problems, because it'll help you in the long run. You don't want to keep like brushing it under the rug, like I was, and then just dealing with the aftermath. So yeah, focus on your mental health. Um, I see some hands up from like Jarrell.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
Hello. Yes.
I had a question for Ali Zane, actually. So I was just wondering, like, do you think that you're really good with time management or no?
That's a good question. Actually, even I myself sometimes am not good at time management, because there have been times in the past where I've realized that, oh, I'm screwed because I forgot this assignment. But then I was like, okay, I could care less because I don't really care too much about grades because that's not what matters at the end of the day. But let's keep that topic aside. But yeah, time management, I would say that I am good at pre-planning things in my mind. Let's put it that way instead of managing my time. I don't know if it means the exact same things, but sometimes I do run out of time. Sometimes I'm like, okay, I'm screwed. I have so many things to do and I have less amount of time. I am in that situation as well. It's just that I don't show it to other people. But I just get things done before time. So you could say that I'm a good planner instead of a good time manager. But yeah, good question.
All right, thank you. That was a good
Yeah,
answer.
of course. Of course.
Yeah, and one thing to add to like how do you focus on like becoming a better programmer, or like what helps you like push you forward? I think people don't emphasize like fitness enough either. Not only like will it make you more active, will it make you quicker throughout your day, will it give you energy, but it'll make you so much more productive if you exercise like at least somewhat regularly. You don't have to go to the gym like every day, but even like for an hour a week, or like 2 times a week for an hour, that's very good in the long term if you do it consistently. Just focusing on that as well, and that'll help you tremendously in the long run.
There's one more thing I would like to add, like piggybacking to John's question. When he mentioned that CS is hard, CS could be daunting. I agree, it's really difficult, but I feel like a lot of CS majors emphasize on getting good grades, which is also where stress comes in to play, because what matters at the end of the day is you graduating, you getting that bag, getting that bread, getting that internship, getting a full-time job where you're happy. It doesn't matter if you graduate with a 3.2 or a 3.9 or a 4.0. At the end of the day, you just want to get a job. I feel like that's what most of us are looking for. Unless you want to get into higher education, like master's or PhD, that's where GPA matters a lot. But one advice from me is that don't really chase for grades or getting 4.0s or top-notch grades. Yes, that doesn't mean that don't work hard. Please work hard. Please strive for excellence. But don't just like think that okay, you want this exam to give you like an A, or this exam to, or like this class to give you like an A. Don't worry about A's, worry about what you're learning out of that coursework or that exam or whatever you're doing, but because that's what's going to come with you a long way and not your 4.0.
I think one of the things that keeps me going in CS is just having friends in classes. When I was, like starting out, like you just pick your classes and you don't know anyone when you start off in college. But after that, like after you talk to classmates, after you like meet people, um, you tend to like make your schedules together. Like, hey, can we take the CS class together? They're like, yeah. Or can we take this math class together? And just having friends in those classes really helped me, because if I didn't understand an assignment, or if I didn't understand a homework, I had people that I knew I could go to for help. And same thing the other way. Like if they didn't know something, they could come to me for help. And as much as I joke about how much I want to drop out, um, I think just having people in the same classes as you and people experiencing the same things that you're experiencing really helps, because that means like, hey, we're doing this together. Like if you don't fail, I won't fail either. And that's something that really pushes me just to keep going.
Yeah, going back to like surrounding yourself with the right people, because it's hard to stay motivated. If you just have someone on your ass that keeps telling you like, "Hey, you got to do this shit," or or you're not gonna do stuff. It's good to have friends. Yeah.
I will add on to this to a slight extent, where it's good to have friends that are peers or people that have already taken like coursework above you to at least help you and guide you through your course. Either that, or again, surround yourself, make new friends within your same class, because everyone's in the same boat. Not everyone knows exactly what the hell is going on. Some people don't, some people do. At the very least, like form good study groups, all that sorts of stuff to like help you learn and understand the coursework, all that sorts of stuff. In my opinion, adding on to like what Alexander said about earlier, grades don't matter as much. To a certain extent, it does. Where if you're above a certain threshold, then it genuinely doesn't matter. Some companies will automatically reject you if it's below a certain what was it? Below a certain threshold. But other than that, it's just like focus more on yourself and then also understanding what's going on. Just because if you don't, then it might come back to bite you later.
It's good. Do you guys have okay? Anybody have any questions? Okay, guys. Any other comments, suggestions? Maybe Ali, do you have another question for us? Oh, Jarrell got a question.
No, that's not a question. It's not a question. I just want to say, I mean, I know all of you. I don't know like everybody. I don't really know Carolyn personally, but I've heard your name and I've seen you in person. But I just wanted to say, like, to the people that have been chatting here, like, I appreciate all the words and all the advice. I did learn a lot, and I think like one message I could say to other people that are like struggling or feel like they're probably not that special to compared to the people around them. Honestly, like you probably don't really see it, but like I didn't really see a lot of things special about me until when I joined the campus, but a lot of people seem to see some sort of light in me. And the people that includes some of the people that are chatting here, they've been saying some kind words to me, and it's been really motivating me to be better. So I think like I'm gonna make a pretty cool announcement in a couple of days, but for anybody feeling like they don't really feel too special, or they probably don't feel as strong as they could be, it is a process, and I went through many ups and downs, but currently I'm on my growth era. But yeah, thank you for the talk.
Awesome.
I
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Frank. Go ahead.
I wanted to slightly add on to this. The like just don't how do I say this? Don't compare yourself to other people. I've done that many times, hit imposter syndrome, hit rock bottom way too many times to where it was just very tempting to just stop what I was doing. But always try to be the a better person than you were the day before. That's all I can say. That's all you should be striving for. You shouldn't be striving for being better than someone else. Because hell, I'm not even like that good of a programmer. I've started coding since college, not even high school. Never even touched coding till like 2 years ago, and I have like 0 side projects to my name. But you can still land an internship. You can still get a full-time job offer. All that sorts of stuff. It's just going to be a lot harder. And the best thing you need to do is just strive through. Strive through. Do your best. Just be a better you. That's it.
Yeah.
I do have a question for you guys, actually. The question is, what motivates you every day to just strive harder and work harder and become a better version of yourself than yesterday, what Frank just mentioned?
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Hey, sorry guys, I was on my laptop and I had like 7 tabs open and it crashed. Some of them might be seen.
Interesting.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great question. As for me, it's really my friends. I like when my first like year at UH was completely virtual, so I didn't really get to like interact and make as many friends as I would have liked that first year. And so when I came into UH, my second year, like physically, I made it a priority to surround myself, like as Yuri said, with people who were better than me, right? And because of that, I kind of like I like to joke that I became like big brain by association. Literally just hanging out with like all these great people. I I became like them, you know? I achieved my goals, and I'm here because of them, basically. And you know, there's so many of them here right now on this call. So thanks to you guys.
Woo.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for me, I feel like I don't know, I like making people happy, and maybe it's because like I'm so like I feel like sometimes I'm like super sad, and I'll try to make myself happy. So I feel like that motivates me, and just like just making people happy. I feel like that's a big motivator. Um, like not to sound like super optimistic or anything, but that's just how it is. And um, like remember we're all like humanity wouldn't be here if they weren't working together. Super like general, but so like learn to work with each other. You guys are a big team. Like use your resources to your advantage. Use your peers to your advantage. Like ask questions. Like meet people. That's what we've been trying to iterate. But like come talk to us. You guys can ask us questions as well anytime. Hit us up on Discord or something. Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, my friends have been a really big motivation for me. Um, like I said previously, when I was in high school, like I didn't have a lot of friends in like STEM classes because I just had a really hard time making friends with people who weren't girls. Um, but as soon as I got to college, I made it like number one priority. I'm like, I want to meet people in my major. I want to meet people like me. So I would like just join like a bunch of clubs. I used to be part of SHEP, which is the Society for Professional Hispanic Engineers. I think I said the acronym wrong, but it just really helped me connect with people that were like me and that understood like what I was going through. But like Frank said, it's really hard to deal with imposter syndrome. I remember that I dealt with that over the summer. Like it kind of like really demotivates you, but it's sometimes it's difficult to want to keep going, but the things that motivate me are like the people that are around me, the people that I know that are there for me. Like talking to friends really help, talking to just meeting new people, things like that. Just make sure that you're not alone. But from day-to-day life, there's people there waiting for you, and there's people there waiting to see you succeed. Don't compare yourself to anyone because that's really harmful. And you're doing just fine. Like if anything, like I've thought if I don't want to regret the past, so for future me, what do I do today to not make me regret today? So what can I do? Yeah. So what can I do now to make me not regret what I'm doing at the moment? Like can I pay attention to classes? Can I make more projects? Can I meet more friends? Can I be more involved? Like what can I do right now? That will make me a better person.
Yeah, Carolyn, I'd like to add on, like, it's just every day, like, strive, like, it's super hard. And this goes back to, like, motivation, being, like, physically active, surrounding yourself with, like, people. But I just lost the thought. But, like, yeah, just doing your best every day. That's the only thing you can control, no matter how you feel, no matter, like, if you stepped on like dog poop or something that day and that made your day horrible, like no matter what happens, just like strive to do your best, and that'll like carry you forward so much. Like Michael Phelps said at the speech, and he's like, um, you're gonna have those days where you're not gonna want to do shit, and that's those are the days that you want to do the shit, because that'll help you motivate yourself, because you're like, God damn, bro, I woke up today at like 4 in the morning to do something. I don't know, but or you'll be like, damn, it really sucked waking up today, but you know, I did it and I came to class and that was like really cool. So that just like that will motivate you